and indignity has been levied against the citizens of District 2, as well as the candidates, by those identified persons, some of whom have taken the oath of office to uphold the rule of the law. They have caused an unfair and unjust election. It clearly states in the Alabama State Legislature Code, Title 17, Section 17-9-10, that all electors within the state of Alabama shall vote in the county and voting place of his or her domicile and nowhere else. Domicile meaning a place of residence. Per the letter to the editor of the Ledger-Enquirer, dated Thursday, December the 7th, it states that there are those actually living in Auburn who are registered to vote using the Phenix City Board of Realtors' main office as their address. That office is a place that has no living quarters and is not zoned as residential but commercial, which goes completely against the above stated legislature code. But we stand here today to say we will not be bamboozled and we will not be hoodwinked. Now, the voter registration form constitutes a sworn affidavit to ensure that voters sign and affirm that everything he or she contests to is legal and truthful. Under that same document, under the signature, is a disclaimer stating that any false swearing is a felony and is subject upon conviction of up to 5 years in prison. Now, upon these findings, we had a conversation with the Alabama probate judge, Alfred Harding, to question the formalities of outside district voting, illegally voting within a district outside of a zoned residential location, and also to make aware of these infractions. And his claim was, and I quote, "I had nothing to do with the election." We also had a meeting with Mr. Gary Head, one of the 3 board members of registrars, about the same issue, and he made mention of there being, and I quote, "a gray area and more than one code manual that makes the term domicile unclear." If that is true, why out of 6,000 eligible voters in District 2, why does only 80 plus people know about this? Now that's something to make you go, But we will not be bamboozled. We will not stand idle, be hoodwinked. We will be reaching out to the Secretary of State to produce both manuals in order to gain clarification and understanding of the correct policy to follow. Now, the who's who of Phenix City seem to have become complicit in nepotism involvement. But if the average citizens engage in this manipulation of domicile, I ask you this question: would the results be the same? I quote one city council member as saying, "They meant no harm." Well, city council member, a deer that runs out in front of you and you accidentally hit him, that is the term, "I meant no harm." The real question is, why has this been allowed to go on for so long? As many of those confronted state, well, we have been doing it this way for years. Once this issue was brought to the forefront, why was there not an investigation put in place by the Secretary of State to consider and review the wrongdoings of the November 14th election? Therefore, we will be requesting a formal investigator from the office of the Secretary of State. We will not stand idle and be bamboozled. We will not stand idle and be hoodwinked.